What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to a brand new video. As you can tell by the title of the video, this is my Stranger Things series finale review. I saw it about 24 hours ago now. I saw it in theaters. Obviously, I didn't watch it the night it came out, again, simply because I wanted to wait to see it in theaters. It was a fun experience, you know. I wouldn't say seeing it in theaters felt too crazy different than seeing it at home, but it was fun. You know, it was still a fun time. Now, in terms of my feelings of the finale, coming out of the film, I was really mixed on it, like really, really mixed, and I'm still kind of mixed. There are parts that I thought were absolutely incredible and are just a perfect, beautiful send-off, and there are parts that very much did not work and were very clearly rushed and felt like they were kind of just duct taped together in a fucking sloppy mess of a way, and were kind of just thrown together and said, here's your finale. We're going to get into all of it. We're going to get into all the nitty-gritty details, because there is a lot to discuss. So I guess without further ado, let's get into it. All right, so let's start off with everything regarding the characters and their send-offs. And everything. So the film gives us about a 40 to 50 minute epilogue after the whole entire, you know, the main juice of it. We get a whole 40-minute epilogue of just character send-offs, and I think they're all very, very good, except for one, and that's 11, and I will get into that. I thought Mike had a beautiful send-off. Obviously, he's mourning the death of 11. And he has a great scene with Hopper on the bench, and he tells him, because he's facing the same kind of choice that Hopper was, and that was to either let it eat him alive and blame himself, or move on, which is what Elle would have wanted. And he decides to move on, and it takes place 2 years after the events of season 5, and it's graduation day for our main 5. And Mike makes his choice and he moves on, and then he goes on to become a writer. With Dustin, he wins valedictorian. He gives a fantastic speech at the end on stage. He grows up to go to college, and you have Lucas and Max. Again, they fall deeper in love. They finally have their movie date. And then for Will, he moves on and moves out of Hawkins, and he finds a boyfriend, and they live happily ever after. And Hopper and proposes to Joyce, and they're moving out of Hawkins, and they're gonna go get married and live a new life together, which is beautiful. And then obviously Nancy, Jonathan, Steve, and Robin, Jonathan, and Nancy all moved out of Hawkins. Nancy and Jonathan are in New York. I forget where Robin was, and Steve's still in Hawkins. Steve's now a baseball coach, which again, it just feels natural because he's always had that dad role. And then obviously, Jonathan is going on to be a film writer or maker or whatever, and Nancy was in college and then dropped out, and again, that just kind of ties into her whole very independent nature. And I know a lot of people really had a problem with the Jonathan and Nancy breaking up, but I do honestly, at my core, feel like she is meant to be kind of on her own for now. I feel like it just makes sense that way. She is very independent. So in terms of all the character send-offs, fucking fantastic. They were executed perfectly. The way they gave their characters a send-off in this is what they should have did in Cobra Kai. Instead of giving a 10 to 15 second, just little montage of showing where they end up, go in depth, show us, let us see. Do time jumps, you know what I mean? And they did it perfectly in Stranger Things. I love the way they did it. And again, all this final scenes with our characters felt so satisfying, and I think the epilogue mainly focusing on Mike was so smart, because to be honest, I've always felt he was the main character. Even though 11 is their poster girl and Hopper's always played a big part, I've always felt like the heart of the show, it was always Mike. And I'm glad they kind of went back to that at the end. The final shot of the show is of Mike. It's just him looking at his sister and Derek and their friends, the next generation, is playing D&D. And then he walks up his basement stairs and shuts the door. So right where this show started is right where it ended. So everything involving those characters were great. Again, aside from 11, I think they butchered 11's story. Just butchered it. Um, it should have been a lot better. I did not hate the concept of her killing herself, actually. I just think the way they went about doing it was dumb. This whole kind of like they're just about to get out and she all of a sudden decides to stay back and lets the Upside Down take her away with it as it gets destroyed. Did not like that much, but I could live with it. Then at the very end they reveal that she somehow fucking survived and was made invisible by Kali so that the government couldn't see her. It was just such a, like, she's off living in an island somewhere. It's the dumbest fucking thing they could have done. I've never let out a bigger groan in my life in a theater. I was so just annoyed. Which is going to lead me into my next point. The Duffers still were too pussy to kill off anyone. Anyone. Nobody dies except for fucking Kali. Which we already knew she was going to die. Like, oh my god, dude. That is my biggest problem with this episode is, again, they still were too pussy to kill anybody off. The Duffers are so obsessed with this happy ending, and it's not realistic. And the fact that nobody dies, it removes the stakes. There were no stakes going into this final battle because you already know everyone was going to live just because of how the Duffers are. And so many goddamn fake outs. Oh my god. These motherfuckers love to fake us out with deaths. They love it. They live for it. Dustin, Steve, Nancy, all get fake out deaths in this. 11, Kali. You know, we literally watched Kali die and somehow she survived over an hour with having a gunshot wound to her stomach to, again, somehow make 11 invisible. It just makes no sense. Like, and I guess, like, the Steve fake out, stupid. If you're not gonna fucking kill him off, then stop fucking dick teasing us. And again, this is kind of the same thing I felt with part 2. Blue balls, dude. Just blue balls. Like, they keep hinting at stuff that would be awesome, but they don't fucking, like, commit to it. And like, it's so frustrating. And because of that, they ruined Vecna as a villain. He was such a pussy in this episode. Completely just diminished him to ash. You know, he doesn't kill anybody. He gets his ass kicked by 11 so easily. We're watching him cry and break down, which I actually wouldn't mind the idea of him having a redemption arc. But then committing to him being the villain with the Mind Flayer. You know, it's not one's in control of the other. They're partners in crime. They're equals. It's like you commit to that, but then it doesn't mean anything because he gets his ass handed to him. And like his fight with 11 was so like lackluster. It lasted like 2 seconds. You know, like having Will get involved and, you know, him holding Vecna's arm and then just completely breaking it off was cool. And, you know, it was cool. It just wasn't long enough, and there was no stakes. You know, I wasn't worried for 11 at all because I knew she was going to kill him. Because again, the Duffers don't like to kill any of their main characters. And because they don't, it ruins the stakes of them fighting Vecna or the fucking gigantic kaiju Mind Flayer thing that we got. And that's going to lead me into my next point. I'm half and half on that too. The fucking kaiju looked cool. It looked great. It looked sick. But the fight is just way too short. It's like fucking 5 minutes. It gets his ass kicked by a bunch of kids. You know, they're shooting it. And it's getting harmed by the bullets, but yet when Vecna gets shot, it's like nothing. It's just bouncing off of him. You're fucking telling me Vecna is more durable than that big fucking Mind Flayer monster fucking thing? It just doesn't make sense. Also, how the fuck did it become the physical form? They don't explain it. You see it in its dust form one time, and you hear it talk to Henry, which is a new, cool, and creative idea, but they don't go down the rabbit hole of it. They just show us it, and then nothing comes of it. You just see it once and then that's it. Again, blue balls. They're just like blue ballsing us. They're giving us a little taste, but they don't commit to it. Which is so frustrating, man. This whole season, I feel like that's what they've been doing. They've been just teasing us. It's just been one big tease that will ultimately amount to nothing. It's so frustrating. It was very frustrating. Another thing, they just could not commit to if they wanted the first Shadow play to be canon or not. They won't commit to either side of it. They're in some scenes they like want to commit to it, but they don't. Like, it makes no sense. In the play, Vecna is controlled by the Mind Flayer. That's what they say. They straight up show it. In season 4, it said that Vecna is controlling the Mind Flayer, and in season 5, it's saying that they're teammates. So it's like, what's canon, dude? What is canon? Why? And another thing, why the fuck are we getting flashbacks that mean nothing? We got 2 flashbacks, or 3, to 1959. One of them meant something. And the only one that meant anything was the one in the cave. Obviously, he pulls out the rock, and the fucking Mind Flayer goes in him again, which is a direct contradiction of season 4 and the first Shadow play. It's like it's creating its own new canon. Because again, he gets teleported to Dimension X in the play. In this, he doesn't. He just runs away. In the play, he gets teleported to Dimension X. He's like missing for weeks. Not in this. So it's like they wanted to make a little bit of a canon and then someone not canon, and it's just a mess. And again, why are we getting flashbacks to 1959? We're seeing Joyce in the hallway. It's like they gave us a cameo flashback. It's like those flashbacks where they're just like, oh look, it's a young Joyce. It was so pointless. It's like, why? Why were those there? And this again leads me, why the fuck they ever decided to make First Shadow canon is so beyond me. Such a dumb idea. So dumb. From the fucking beginning, I was protesting against them doing it, and I knew it was going to amount to nothing, and it did. It was so useless. Pointless. They didn't build on Vecna's relationship with Joyce, Vecna's relationship with Hopper, with none of those characters. Nothing. Nothing ever came of it. We didn't get any Patty Newby. We didn't get shit. Nothing. We got nothing. Nothing involved with that play. No time travel to go back and save Patty, which was a big theory. Nothing. Nothing. It's as if the play never existed. Aside from those flashbacks they showed us and the cave. So I don't know what the fuck we're doing in that area. Another thing, back to the character point, I kind of left this part out. Why are we wasting characters? Linda Hamilton was so fucking wasted in this season. I know I talked about this in my Volume 2 review. The same thing with Joyce. Just completely wasted their characters, man. Why is Linda Hamilton in this season? She is literally just the black dude from season 4. Sorry, I forget his name, but you know what I'm talking about. The fucking Colonel guy. Why is she here? She does the exact same thing he does. Except it's Linda Hamilton. It literally feels like they brought her in just to go, oh, look, it's Linda Hamilton. It's like, she does nothing. She doesn't kill anyone. There's no big fucking revelation as to who she is. We don't really find out her motivations. Why she's here is beyond me. And in the end, I guess she just lets them go. You know, after Hopper and all of our characters come out of the fucking Upside Down, she just lets them go. We never find out what happens with her. There's no conclusion to her story. It just doesn't conclude. It's as if she never even existed. She just lets them go, I guess. Lazy, sloppy writing like this is why I was so frustrated in this finale. Lazy, so sloppy. What the fuck ever happened to Owens? Forgot about him. Like, where'd he go? Guess he's gone. Haven't seen him since season 4. Did they kill him? Is he alive? Nope. Susie, what happened to her? No mention of her, no nothing. Just another character. Bye-bye. Argyle, the fuck ever happened to him? Obviously, we knew beforehand he wasn't going to be in this season, but why? They never give us an explanation. Nope, just gone. Just gone. Same thing I had with Jason earlier in the scene. They never even mentioned him. It's as if he never existed. It's like, why are we pretending like these things didn't happen? It's just... This whole season felt so rushed, and so did the finale, man. The finale felt rushed. Like I said, I like the big Kaiju fight, too short. Like the big Vecna fight, too short. You know, like the visuals were great. You know, there was and their problem. The needle drops in this season or in this episode were so bad. They were so bad. You have a scene where, and it's one of the most ridiculous scenes in the whole show. Eleven's standing there and she's about to die, and you have everybody looking at her in these ridiculous slow-mo shots going, no, Eleven! And it's like the most upbeat music. I don't even know the song. I was so mad. The most upbeat music is playing in the background. It's like Eleven's dying. And it's like, it's like, it just doesn't match the scene at all. Where was the trailer song from Queens? Where was When It's Cold I'd Like to Die? These great songs. Where was the eulogy? Like, I don't get it. I just don't get it. So, yeah, like I said, I'm overall just really mixed on this final episode. I'll give it credit that I think it did stick the landing, but it was a really bumpy landing. They didn't crash, but it was a bumpy landing. I give it like a 6 out of 10 finale. It has its problems, it really does. But I think overall, I had fun. I enjoyed it. The emotions were there. Like I said, it was just a really bumpy landing. There was a lot that just didn't make sense. Another thing too, this is my last thing, I promise, but what if Will is connected to the mind flare through the hive mind, and they killed the mind flare? How is Will still alive? Also, where were the Demogorgons and the Demodogs and the Demobats? Like, those were gone too, apparently. And the Duffers in an interview just say, they just weren't around because Vecna wasn't expecting it. When you have to constantly answer questions about your season in fucking interviews, that's how you know your season was written sloppily. Like, it's sloppy. It's just sloppy. Sloppy writings, just sloppy. But yeah, enough of me rambling. I hope you guys did enjoy this video. I'm sorry if it wasn't the review you were hoping for. Like I said, it's not bad. I don't hate the episode. I enjoy it, but it has its issues. A bumpy landing is the best way to put it. Make sure to rate, comment, subscribe. I'll see you guys next time. Bye, guys.